Shalom, 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 Yasha'Allah. This your boy, Bahasham Allah, back at you with another quick edifying video. Today's lesson is going to be called The Simple Believeth Every Word. The Simple Believeth Every Word. All right, first and foremost, I want to give all praises, honor, and glory. I want to say, Halal, Yahawah, Bahasham, Yahawashi, Bahasham, Rawchaa, Qadash. That's all praises to the Heavenly Father, whose name is Yahawah, and his only begotten Son's name, who you ignorantly call Jesus, whose name is Yahawashi. All right, and the Holy Spirit, which is the Rawchaa Qadash. Double honors to the apostles and elders of GMS on down, who have ruled well to the Spirit and have fed and edified the sheep in these last days, and has pushed this gospel and this truth to the four corners of the earth in these last days. A mighty shalom. Another mighty shalom to all you Akim out there laboring on the highways and on the hedges and on the unicorn, which is this internet, pushing this 100% doctrine, this 100% truth to the four corners of the earth in these last days. A mighty shalom to you all as well. Like I said, today's lesson is going to be called The Simple Believeth Every Word. All right. And see your guys back again. This is from Unilad. It says, people think the rapture is back on after noticing pastor's bizarre mix-up with calendar. All right. It says a pastor who was left red-faced on a live stream after the world did not come to an end has doubled down on our impending doom. It says Joshua Malika is hoping God will spare his blushes by inflicting a rapture upon earth, sucking his spirit up to heaven alongside fellow Christian believers. He assured his followers that he saw the Lord 7 years ago in a dream and was told that on September 23rd and the 24th of this year, our planet would shake with such power and God would rescue the Christians out of the world. His confidence drew in followers desperate for certainty during turbulent times, with some even believed to have sold their cars and properties because they would have no need for the mortal possessions. So if you have no need, why would you even sell it? You should give it away, right? Let's keep going. Right, and this is him again, right? Back at it. So it says, alas, the rapture never materialized, but according to a theory online, people think it could still be on the cards due to a bizarre mix-up with the calendar. It says, the hypothesis is that, I'm going to read it for how it says, Jesus would have used the Julian calendar in the days that he was alive, but in these modern day, we use the Gregorian calendar, which was created in 1582 before being used by Britain in 1752. It says at that time, there was 11 days difference between the two calendars. Now there's a gap of 13 days, which would mean the rapture is anticipated to come today, October 7th. All right. And right now, as I do this video, it's October 8th. All right. So if you're watching this video, it said, it clicked to me, the pastor told TWINZ TV. It says, people had to believe me. I repeat this. I saw Jesus face to face. There was a narrative out of there, and it was not, it says there's a narrative out there that it was not the real Jesus. It says, we will see in the days to come. Well, let's hope the rapture doesn't come. Sorry, Michaelia. I don't know how you say his name. It says, as for why do people still fall for apocalyptic predictions? Psychotherapist Tina Truman explained people often get caught up in these belief systems during times of uncertainty because our brain is wired to seek patterns of certainty when life feels uncertain and unpredictable. It says neuroscience show us that heightened stress and uncertainty. All right, that's a bunch of hoopla. Let's see. If the rapture doesn't happen this time around, should we anticipate another coming soon, or are we okay to get on with our lives? Right. And hey, listen, you know, like I say, it was supposed to be October 7th. It's October 8th, and there is no rapture, right? There is no rapture. Hey, but you could go on I think it's Amazon Prime Day, so you might be able to grab you something on Amazon Prime Day that you probably gave away for the rapture. You might be able to get a good deal on it. All right. Let's get a couple of scriptures, all right, and we'll close it out. I'm not gonna make this too long, all right. But this is Proverbs 15, 14, and verse number 15. It says, "The simple believeth every word, but the prudent man looketh well to his going." All right. It says, "Only simpletons believe everything they're told." It says, "The prudent carefully consider their steps." All right. The prudent will search the scriptures like the church of Berea to see if those things are true. All right. And as you see, they're not. All right. They're not true. All right. Here we are, October 8th now. All right. So, but, I'm sure it was somebody out there who fell for the okie doke twice. All right. Let's jump down to verse 18, right? Proverbs 14 and 18. "The simple inherit folly." It says, "But the prudent are crowned with knowledge." All right. It says, "Simpletons," in the NLT, "are clothed with foolishness, and the prudent are crowned with knowledge." All right. Because if you have understanding, you know what's going on. All right. Matter of fact, what does it say in the book of Isaiah 55 and verse number 11? And it reads, it says, let's start at verse 10. It says, "For as the rain cometh down and the snow from heaven, and returneth not thither, but watereth the earth and maketh it bring forth and bud," it says, "that it may give seed to the sower and bread to the eater, so shall my word go, so shall my word be that goeth forth out of my mouth. It shall not return unto me void, but it shall accomplish that which I please, and it shall prosper in the thing whereto I sent it." Okay. And the Lord sent out prophecies. All right. And those prophecies must be fulfilled. All right. And that's, I did a lesson about this, right before, or it might have been right after, they said it was the so-called rapture. All right. The NLT, verse 11, right? It says, "It is the same with my word. I send it out, and it always produces fruit. It will accomplish all I want it to, and it will prosper everywhere I send it." Okay. And, Yahawah, his word is true. Okay. It said, the simple believeth every word. All right. And, we understand that we go to the book of Ezekiel, right? Ezekiel chapter 14 and verse number 9. And it reads, it says, "And if the prophet be deceived when he have spoken a thing, I, Yahawah, Bahasham, have deceived that prophet, and I will stretch out my hand upon him and will destroy him from the midst of my people Israel." Okay. In the NLT, it says, "And if a prophet is deceived into giving a message, it is because I, Yahawah, Bahasham, have deceived that prophet. I will lift up my fist against such prophets and cut them off from the community of Israel." Okay. And we understand, Yahawashi told us, all right, himself, all right, Matthew 24, and let's see, verse number 5. I'll start verse number 4. It says, and Yahawashi answered and said unto them, take heed that no man deceive you. For many shall come in my name, saying, I am Hamashiach, and shall deceive many. Let's jump down, verse 11. It says, and many false prophets shall rise and shall deceive many. Okay. What I want, verse 23. It says, Matthew chapter 24, verse 23, it says, then if any man shall say unto you, lo, here is Hamashiach, or there, believe it not. Okay. It's right. It says, for there shall arise false Hamashiachs and false prophets, and shall show great signs and wonders, and so as much if it were possible, they shall deceive the very elect. All right. But it says, behold, I have told you before. Okay. So in the NLT, it says, see, I have warned you about this ahead of time. All right. So yeah, Yahawashi warned us about that. All right. About people, falsely prophesying, right? Saying that there's going to be a rapture. All right. What is that? Let's get verse number 36. Okay. Because he said, oh, well, you know what? I was wrong. It was the calendar, right? Hey, I guess, God forgot to look at the calendar, when he said that, right? Come on, man. All right. This is Matthew chapter 24, verse 36. It says, but of that day and hour knoweth no man, no, not the angels of heaven, but my Father only. Okay. So understand. All right. In the NLT, right, Matthew chapter 24, verse 36, it says, however, no one knows the day or hour when these things will happen, not even the angels in heaven or the Son of Man himself. Only the Father knows. Okay. So if you say, quote unquote, Jesus told you that, September 23rd was it, and now it's actually supposed to be October 7th or 8th, right? And he said himself that no man knoweth, except the Father himself, all right, when he's going to return. So, right? Come on. Like, this is, this is simple work. All right. But, you have people who, are set up to be deceived. Okay. It says, let's get that. 2 Corinthians 4 and verse number 3. It says, but if our gospel be hid, it is hid to them that are lost, in whom the God of this world hath blinded the minds of them which believe not, lest the light of the glorious gospel of Hamashiach, who is the image of the Most High, should shine unto them. Okay? And we read this in the NLT. It says, if the good news we preach is hidden behind a veil, it is hidden only from people who are perishing. All right? So, you could put 2 and 2 together, man, and come with a conclusion. All right? My man, is, falsely prophesying. All right? Why? Because the gospel is hid. And the scriptures say, if the good news we preach is hidden behind a veil, it is hidden only from people who are perishing. All right? Who are going to be deleted. All right? It says Satan, who is the God of this world, hath blinded the minds of those who don't believe. They are unable to see the glorious light of the good news. They don't understand this message about the glory of Hamashiach, who is the exact likeness of the Most High. All right? Because if you understood, you would understand that there's prophecies and prophecies. There's still prophecies that have not been fulfilled. Okay? And they have to be fulfilled. All right? They have to be fulfilled. All right? The Lord, it said, my word shall go out and it shall accomplish all that I say. Okay? The scriptures say, these words are faithful and true. Write them in Second Ezra 15. All right. Behold, speak these prophecies in the ear of my people. All right, and cause them to be written in the book, for they are faithful and true. All right, that means they're gonna happen. All right, these prophecies gotta happen. All right, you know, if you wanted to predict something, you could have predicted, like you say, the Amazon Prime Day. All right, you know, you could have did that and fared off better. All right, let's get Job. Right, let's get the book of Job, 12, and let's get to the point. Job chapter 12 and verse 16, it says, with him is strength and wisdom, the deceived and the deceiver are his. All right. It says, in the NLT, it says, yes, strength and wisdom are his, right? The Heavenly Father, Yahawah, right? It says wisdom, yes, strength and wisdom are his. Deceivers and deceived are both in his power. Okay. And the Lord said, you know, if a prophet, you know, deals falsely, I have deceived that prophet. Okay. And he said, now he's saying, you know, the deceived and the deceiver are his. All right. So now if you followed the false prophet, that's because I caused you to do that. All right. You're both mine. All right. The Lord put you in a crazy trick bag. All right. Let's go to Second Thessalonians. All right. We'll close it out. Second Thessalonians 2, and let's go to let's start at verse number 9. It says start at verse 8. It says, and then shall that wicked be revealed, right? Esau, Edom, whom Yahawah Bahasham shall consume with the spirit of his mouth, and shall destroy with the brightness of his coming. Okay, when he comes, right? The Lord said, Salakia. Let's get that. Matthew 24 and what is that? Right here. It says, I just want to get this real quick. Where I told you before. So this is Matthew chapter 24, 25. It says, behold, I have told you before. It says, wherefore, if they shall say unto you, behold, he is in the desert, go not forth. Behold, he is in a secret chamber, believe it not. It says, for as the lightning cometh out of the east and shineth even unto the west, so shall also the coming of the Son of Man be. Okay, so that's how you'll know. All right, you're gonna know. All right, it says every eye shall see him. All right, in Revelation, even those who pierced him. Okay, so you know, so it says, for as lightning shineth. All right, as lightning cometh out of the east and shineth even unto the west, so shall also the coming of the Son of Man be. Okay. And it says, when you jump down, verse 30, it says, and then shall appear the sign of the Son of Man in heaven, right? Talking about Yahawashi. And then shall all the tribes of the earth mourn, and they shall see the Son of Man coming in the clouds of heaven with power and great glory. Okay. Right now, everybody's in their house, right? Hey, people are on the internet, right? Trying to get their Prime stuff. Right. I'm not trying to advertise, but it's just funny because I was just thinking about that before. Right. But, you know, hey, when Yahawashi comes, you know, hey, everybody's going to see it. All right. They're going to know. All right. It's not going to be written on a calendar. All right. So let's go back to Second Thessalonians and we'll close it out. Second Thessalonians 2 and verse number 8 again, it says, and then shall the wicked be revealed, whom Yahawah Bahasham Yahawashi shall consume with the spirit of his mouth, and shall destroy with the brightness of his coming. All right, because he's coming in the chariot of the Lord. All right, a so-called spacecraft. All right, it says, even him whose coming is after the working of Satan with all power and signs and lying wonders. All right, and they love to use their technology and these different things to try to fool and deceive people. All right, it says, and with all deceivableness and unrighteousness in them that perish, because what? They receive not the love of the truth, that they might be saved. All right, because they were all deceived. Remember, the deceived and the deceiver are his. All right, and remember that if the gospel is hid, it is to who? To them that are perishing. All right, let's read on verse 11. It says, and for this cause, the Most High Yahawah shall send them strong delusion, that they should believe a lie. Oh, it's going to be today. Well, today came, right? And it's now October 8th. All right. It said it was going to be on the 7th. All right. It says, and for this cause, the Most High shall send them strong delusion, that they should believe a lie. It says that they all might be damned who believe not the truth, but have pleasure in unrighteousness. All right. Our people don't want to adhere to the truth. All right. So if you got deceived, right, if you went and sold all your stuff, it's because the Lord made you do that. All right. The deceived and the deceiver are his. All right. And the simple believeth every word. All right. And this is the following, right, of a lot of these wacky tacky churches, man. All right. They just blind leaders of the blind, leading of the blind, right? Nobody's actually searching the scriptures to see if it's correct. I was watching a video, I forgot who it was, and they had a good point. They were saying, you sit in church and everybody memorizes the you have the Bible, and then in the pew or whatever you call it, the little in the seats, right? In the back of the seats, you have the Bible and you have a hymn book, right? And most people who've been in church long enough memorize the hymn instead of the scriptures, right? Couldn't tell you but 3 verses, right? John 3:16, right? It's probably, Jesus wept, right? But they can't tell you what's in the scriptures, but they'll tell you, and they know all the songs in the hymn, because that's what most of the time is all spent singing hymns. All right, and not going into the prophecies. The scriptures tell you to occupy in the prophecies. If you knew that, you would know that October 7th, September 23rd, right, 2025. It was not gonna be no rapture, man. Okay, but hey, the simple believeth every word. All right, so I'm gonna leave it at that. Lord's will, this was edifying. With that, I want to give all praises, honor, and glory. I want to say, Kol Halal Yahawah, Bahasham, Yahawashi, Bahasham, Rawchaa, Qadash. Peace and blessings to the elect of the 12 tribes scattered abroad, and mighty Shalom to the 144,000 men. Double honors to the apostles and elders of GMS on down, who have ruled well through the Spirit and have fed and edified the sheep in these last days. Another mighty Shalom to the rest of the elect in the household of faith, man. All right. And continue to occupy in the prophecies. All right. Keep this wisdom, knowledge, and understanding and stability of your times. All right. As we know. All right. Scriptures tell you, that, we are not in darkness like most. All right. So that day will creep up upon us. All right. But because we are diligently watching, and we understand through prophecies the times that we're living in. All right. And the time is coming close. Right. But it's not October 7th. Right. It's not October 7th. All right. So 2025. All right. So with that, I say a ball, and shalom.